Welcome to Hacked, the series where we discuss feats, speed, and hacks. And the topic of the day is the power of Mashle Dad, aka Saitama's son. Mashle Magic And Muscles is the story of a cream puff loving, magicless boy raised by his overprotective father Regro in seclusion to protect him from a society that deems those without magic as worthy of the death penalty. Regro as a result had him do nothing but train tirelessly for his harsh life ahead. And it seems that thanks to these 15 years of secret strength training, Mash never learned the difference between a push and pull door? And much like someone we know all too well, after years of intense training, he became too physically strong, being able to punch away any spell with only the strength his dumbbells gave him, possessing a physique capable of generating instantaneous force, yielding frightening reactions, and an unshakable mind. It would be no exaggeration to say he is unfair. But such unbalanced brute strength with no formal education not only made him contagiously moronic, but also lacking the physical limits of conventional humans made him stick out like a sore thumb. A great example is when he tried to thank his father by massaging his shoulders and accidentally dislocated them. But Regro forgives him because, in all fairness, he doesn't mean it. Now remember this for later. One day Mash ventured to the city, craving a cream puff, and his absurd physical strength and lack of magic blew both his and his father's cover. Once they were wanted by the magic police, he was forced to make a very tough decision. Spend the rest of his and his father's natural lives in fear, running from the magic police, or stand his ground and attend Eastern High undercover, becoming a divine visionary and absolving the problem of magic-oriented discrimination from the ground up. Mash took the difficult path to protect his family, even if it meant facing the entire world, and did so in an absolutely hilarious way. Now with that being said, exactly how strong is he? Since as young as just 5 months old, yes, you heard me, Mash was already a master carpenter, competing against the strongest babies in the magic region. We're talking diaper-wearing infants capable of incapacitating their minders and pulverizing buildings with just raw magic energy. Mash could not only clean up after these little shits, but he could react to these very same devastating attacks by crawling at maximum speed, using an ability called inertial drift, a technique that allows an individual to complete complex maneuvers without losing any speed. Now what's so insane about this is that the defiance of inertia is something that translates to many of Mash's skills, which even as a teenager he still has, allowing him to evade and also chain deadly combinations without the slightest time lag. Similarly, Mash can also swim faster than any aquatic animal and rotate his head like an owl, allowing him to carefully watch his opponent's movements from any position. Now, upon entering Eastern High, Mash is faced with many situations that threaten to reveal his cover, and to counter this, he does some of the most insane things I've ever seen. A great example was during the Eastern entrance exams, wherein he had to trick the examiners into thinking he had magic using only his absurd physical strength. Now, one of these tests require him to ride a magic broom in a race, and to trick them, upon the whistle blowing, he perception blitzes the entire audience, throwing the broom and catching up to it, and then mounting it mid-flight faster than any spectator could perceive, a feat requiring him to travel over 6.3 times the speed of sound. To give you some context, one of the fastest aircrafts on Earth, the Lockheed SR-71, only has a top speed of Mach 3.3, and a casual Mash utterly humiliates that speed. And get this, in yet another event demanding that he be capable of flight, Mash's solution was to continuously kick the air so freakishly hard that he defies gravity and stays in the air, a feat demanding that he overcome factors like air resistance, upholding his balance by stabilizing his core and other stabilizing muscles, much like everybody's favorite Nami-obsessed Curly Brow. Now if you thought that was crazy, we're only scratching the surface. Later on in the series, during a fight with a divine visionary, Mash is able to jump out of his clothes so fast that the clothes themselves don't even register the movement. To achieve this, he would need to exceed the rate at which the material in question can deform. In the case of wool, a highly elastic and densely packed material, sound waves can travel much faster than they do in air. In fact, the speed of sound in wool is significantly greater than the speed of sound in air. By jumping out of his clothes faster than the vibrations can oscillate through the wool, Mash would have had to travel well over 10 times the speed of sound. It's impressive to note that Mash pulls off similar feats routinely, whether it's just getting ready for school or participating in his workouts. Mash constantly almost seems to intentionally defy physics. Another example is when he's trying to help out his friends in the magic games, precisely throwing a ball countless times along a 360-degree arc around the stadium, demonstrating his excellent marksmanship. He then goes on to fight a character named Macaron who embodies sound itself, and not only does he outspeed the sound in his weaker forms, which of course he can, but when Macaron unlocks true magic after weakening Mash with his durability negation, Mash proceeds to display an otherworldly reaction feat by abusing the nature of the speed of sound in solids versus air to blitz Macaron at precisely the last moment, and doing so required him to move at 61 times the speed of sound. What's even more mind-boggling mind-boggling about this feat is that during the blitzing process, which I don't even take into account, he also dunks Macaron's hand into tartar sauce to keep him from becoming intangible again. It was then revealed that after dislocating his father's shoulder, Mash began to subconsciously suppress himself in fights, and like Rock Lee from Naruto, when he removes his magic weighted bracelets, he begins to move at dizzying speeds. In spite of his mentally suppressed state, he's still able to form a one-man bucket brigade against the son of the main antagonist, a character named Domino who's significantly stronger than Macaron, a feat requiring him to complete the process tens of thousands of times in an instant. Now at the low end, I determined that this feat is 1.41 times faster than light, and at the high end, it's over 10 times that speed. Doom, the eldest and most powerful son of the antagonist, matches a suppressed Wade Mash evenly in strength and speed at 30%, and when he reaches 50%, it's then stated that his speed doubles. An unlimited mode Mash can keep up with him before and after the introduction of magic at 50%, which means that the unlimited mode is at least a 2 times multiplier for speed. By using a polynomial regression curve, we can interpolate that Doom is about 7.28 times FTL at 100%. Now after a training arc, Mash surpasses his mentally suppressed unlimited mode in both speed and strength with just his unsuppressed base form. A stronger Mash can keep up with the 100% Doom while weighted, meaning he's at bare minimum 14.56 times faster than light, or FTL plus, at full power. And after supplementing with creatine, he's even able to blitz and bury 100 full power Dooms whilst reserving enough power to face the main antagonist. Now that we've covered speed, I think it's time we quickly go over some of Mash's best AP feats. At this point of the video, I'm sure very few of you would be surprised to hear that Mash since chapter 1 could play netball and football with a spell capable of eviscerating entire forests, win tugs of wars with mutants large enough to stomp out entire cities with just their mass alone. But believe it or not, it actually gets even more ridiculous from here. You see, in some quite literal For the God of Thunder type beat, Mash picks up a wand of immeasurable mass that none could lift in decades and makes it his standard equipment. Mash, as I mentioned earlier, on top of him being incredibly strong, just so happens to be not only a master carpenter and crafter, but also a walking sports encyclopedia. Mash has manipulated this wand into just about anything, from a mitt for playing catch, which he increased the mass of somehow, a pool stick for billiards, and what's more, he actually molds this wand into a baseball bat to bat away an attack capable of decimating an entire country, which is insanely impressive. The only issue with this is, well, countries have no inherent size. But this does give you a good idea of his strength, and as such, this then brings us to the Adam Jobs meta. Essentially, Innocent Zero, the big bad of the series, summons the ex-greatest magician's body like Orochimaru in his fight with Sarutobi, and Adam's corpse uses dark magic to pulverize a mountain. Wahlberg then overpowers this same corpse and displays even more impressive feats by destroying triple the mountains, requiring several gigatons of TNT. Wahlberg then goes on to state that each child of Innocent Zero possesses greater power than he, and between the numerous transformations between the individuals, taking into account their seconds and thirds, and a statement of age being proportional to strength, we find ourselves with Doom being at the pinnacle, which, as I explained earlier, Mash defeats handedly. This is the same Doom who surpasses Domino, someone stated by the Innocent Zero that absorbed Adams' corpse and Wahlberg's magic, as someone whom even he can calm down when angry. After Mash overcomes his mental block, he catches some of Doom's most furious attacks, and after surpassing his suppressed unlimited mode in his unsuppressed base form, he's even catching these attacks with his eyelids.
What did you just say?
When the hell have you heard about someone catching an attack with their eyelids? That's gotta be some of the coldest, most unconventional shit I've ever seen. And yet with a character like Mash, I can't say I'm surprised. Now when you consider that the average strength of a human eyelid in proportion to the strength of the overall body is anywhere between 1 and 1/30th and 1 and 260th, I would say that it's very fair to say he's bridged the gap from large island plus to small country level. As of the recording of this video, he has honed his body rotation manipulation to output attacks that pack a devastating punch, such as the biomechanics cannon. Additionally, his mastery of breakfall techniques allows him to seamlessly transition from freefall to safe landing, rendering him impervious to fall damage as long as he can perceive his surroundings. Mash's complete mastery over his muscles has unlocked a perfect state of lethargy. He is impervious to sharp objects due to the state of his muscle fibers, and his density manipulation abilities allow him to resist internal organ damage, durability negation, and rapidly increases his overall durability and toughness. In addition to his impressive abilities and power, Mash also displays remarkable wrestling techniques such as the German suplex, a variety of chokeholds and submissions, and uncanny adaptability. All of these attributes culminate in making him an immensely strong character whose strength cannot be calculated. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.